You're watching Nutty Nerd TV. I'm Greg Brown. There are two different types of backups. You have on-site backups, which I discussed in episode 10 called Time Machine, and that's essentially where you're backing up your computer to a external hard drive. And then you have off-site backups, sometimes referred to as remote backups, and that's where you're selecting certain files or folders that would be very difficult, if not impossible, to replace. And you're sending that to a remote destination that's far away from your house or your building. The reason why you would want to consider something like this is because think about it. What happens if you're doing your regular on-site backups to your external hard drive and then your house gets broken into and all your computer equipment gets stolen? Or your house burns down, or there's a natural disaster and everything is completely destroyed. Well, even though you were doing backups, it didn't protect you because everything is gone and now you lost all your data. So what you want to do in order to set up a good, viable remote backup solution is to first identify the files on your computer that would be impossible to replace, or it's very important or very critical to you. And then once you do that, then you need to select a destination of where you're going to send this data to. And ideally, you want this very far away. And then the third thing you want to do is identify or find some sort of software program that will do this for you automatically so that you don't have to do this on a manual basis. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you how this is done. All right, so what I want to do is I want to cover this topic into two separate videos. Right now, I'm going to discuss data protection, and then in the next installment, I'll get into data security. So what is data protection only? Well, that's where you're taking files from your computer and then you're uploading them to the internet somewhere off-site so that it's protected. But you're not necessarily guaranteeing that the data that you're copying up to the internet is encrypted. When I get into the data security video, I'll get into like what encryption is and stuff like that. So just doing data protection alone isn't good for things like financial documents and confidential records. However, it's fine for like photos and videos and maybe some documents or whatever. You may already be doing some level of data protection already and not even know it. For instance, if you ever taken a photo from your computer and uploaded it to your Facebook or over to Flickr, that is an example of data protection. The same thing with a video if you uploaded it to YouTube. So what I want to do in this video is I want to introduce you to a product called Dropbox and ChronoSync. The first thing you're going to want to do is set up some software on your computer and install and configure it. So the first software you're going to want to download is Dropbox, and you can go out to dropbox.com and then click on the download Dropbox link. And then what it's going to do is it's going to download the Dropbox application to your computer. It's compatible for both the Mac and the PC. And then you're going to be able to set up your free account with Dropbox. Dropbox gives you a free 2 gigabyte account. If you wanted to purchase more storage, you can do that. And then once you have that installed and set up, then you can go out to econtechnologies.com and then download ChronoSync, and this costs around $40. So once you have these two pieces of software installed, the next thing you're going to want to do is then set it up so that you can automatically sync your files to your Dropbox. So let me go ahead and first show you what a Dropbox is. You can see this little icon here on the Mac. If I were to open that up, I can open up my Dropbox folder. And there it is right there on the left-hand side, Dropbox folder. As a matter of fact, if you look at my home directory right here, this is on a Mac, you'll see that I have Dropbox. It's the same thing on a PC. You have a folder in your home directory and it's called Dropbox. And it's local on your computer, but whatever you put inside your Dropbox folder, it creates a copy up to the internet to the Dropbox server. So you have a copy locally on your computer, but then it also syncs it up online, so you have two copies. That is an example of your data replication or your off-site backups. So what I want to do is I want to copy my pictures here. Okay, so I'm going to set this up. I have my photos here, and if you look in this directory, I have about 91 or 90 so photos. And then I also have my iPhoto library. If I were to double click that, it's going to open up iPhoto, and then you can see my iPhoto library. Okay, so I want to protect everything. Even though it's being backed up on my computer, I want to copy it up to my Dropbox. So just to kind of show you how this works, let me open up my Dropbox folder here. And then I already have, some stuff already in my Dropbox, but I'm going to go ahead and open up photos. Now, I don't have any files in my photos directory yet, So I'm going to go ahead and create a copy here. I'm going to go ahead and do that, copy, and then I can go ahead and paste. And then you can see that it's going to copy that over to my Dropbox. Now it's synced up to my Dropbox account. You can tell because it has a green check mark here. But I can totally do that and that'd be fine, but it'd be kind of time consuming every time I wanted to copy something up to Dropbox. So I want to create a method to where I can just automatically sync my data from my computer up to Dropbox automatically. And the way you do that is you use a program called ChronoSync. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and then it's going to bring up this window here. So you can see I have two window panes here. I have one on the left target here, and then I have one on the right target. So the one on the left target is my local computer, and you can see which operation I'm going to be performing. I'm going to be backing up everything from here over to here. So this is going to be my local computer, and this is going to be the target or the destination, or it's going to be my Dropbox. Okay, so I want to back up my picture. So I'm going to click on choose down here, and then I'm going to go to Greg, and then I'm going to click on pictures, and I'm just going to select this entire thing. Okay, and then now I need to select my Dropbox volume that I'm going to copy it to. So I'm going to select choose, and then I'm going to go to Greg here, and then you can see my Dropbox. Okay, and then I'm going to select photos, and then I'm going to go ahead and select that. So everything from here is going to be copied over to there. You do have these options here. You can go from right to left. I recommend not doing that unless you definitely want to restore everything from your Dropbox or wherever you're backing up to online back to your local computer. You can also synchronize bidirectionally. That means that if I delete something on the left-hand side or modify a document on the left-hand side, it's also going to make sure that that document is synced to the target on the right-hand side and vice versa. But just for a simple setup and for what we're trying to do, just leave it left to right. You also have all these other options here, which makes ChronoSync really cool because you have error reporting, you can do special file handling and stuff like that. Some pretty advanced stuff. If you're not really familiar with, data handling or setting up rules so that, it's looking for specific file types to either copy or not copy, I wouldn't really mess with any of that. You could just to kind of experiment, but just to really get it going, you don't need to really worry about that. So we're all set up to do our initial sync. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on synchronize, and then it's going to copy everything over to the Dropbox. You can see it's about 95%. And then you can see on my other PC here, as well as on my other Mac, because I have a Dropbox installed on both of those and logged into my account, those are also syncing to my other computers as well. So I have it available across my other computers. So now that that's done, what I can do is I can go ahead and open up my Dropbox folder. You can see that it's no longer a green check mark. It's actually has a little arrow or it's like a sync icon there on the folder, which means that it's still syncing. So this right here, the photos from the camera is all synced up. The iPhoto library is still being copied up to Dropbox. So it's going to take a few minutes. So if I open this up, this is my photos in the Dropbox that were from my local computer. So now I have an offsite copy. Now I feel really comfortable and safe knowing that my data is protected. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set up a schedule so you don't have to do this automatically, and you can do that by using the schedule feature. So in order to do that, you're going to want to save your Dropbox right here. Or I'm sorry, you're going to want to save your configuration to back up to your Dropbox. So I'm going to do a save as, and then I'm just going to save it to the desktop, and I'm going to call it my sync. Okay, and it really doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter where you save this file. Maybe just in your documents folder, and then I'm just going to do save. Now that it's saved, I can go ahead and set up a schedule. So what I want to do is let's say every Sunday at 10 o'clock at night, maybe at 10 o'clock p.m. at night, I want to set up a weekly schedule to have it sync up. So I'm going to go ahead and select OK. And then what I want to do also is maybe we can do, you have these other options here. You can do daily, you can do once. If I wanted to do a daily one on Sunday, let's say I wanted to do it Sunday at, what time is it right now? It's 11:48. So if I wanted to do one at 11:49, I can go ahead and do that. 11 in the morning, 49. And then it's going to kick off a sync at 11:49 automatically. So let me go ahead and click out of here, click out of there, and then it's going to sync. In fact, it just did. You just heard that little chime. It went ahead and executed a sync, and then you can see that Dropbox is syncing from whatever changes there are. So anyway, that's pretty much how you set up Dropbox with ChronoSync so that you're backing up things like your photos or your videos, maybe some documents and whatnot. You probably don't want to be, like I said earlier, backing up financial documents or any sensitive data. You're going to want to use something else that we're going to talk about in the next video called Mozy or Carbonite. So anyway, I hope this information has been helpful for you. Until next time, we'll see you again on Nutty Nerd TV.